Evening, everybody. How's it going? It's me, Comic Crack. I'm not going to be able to make the chat this weekend. Father's Day, we're going to visit my folks. As kind of things open up a little and people get more vaccinations, and we're kind of on a slightly mildly upward trend, and I hesitate to give that too much props. But so I'm not going to be making it. I believe Rasa and Damien will still be chatting, I think, over on Rasa's channel. So make sure that you are subscribed there and you check them out on Sunday. Next weekend, I'll be back in the mix with the gang. This week has been a really light week for reading anyway. I think I've maybe now read, 4 comics since last Sunday's stream, but I went in, kind of cleaned out my subscription box, my pull box from Galaxy, and I wanted to kind of just talk about those a little, and maybe just a brief word on a few of the books that I did read. So thanks to Jared Osborne's channel, Norse Mythology Volume 2 is out. So this is issue number 1. Really nice surprise. I loved the first volume of this. I just finished reading this, actually. Loved the first volume. Had no idea the amount that I pay attention to what's coming out new. I just had no idea that this was coming out. And it was great. We're right back into just this fantastic storytelling of these kind of myths and legends of these gods and stuff, and this was a really great issue. Really enjoyed it. Kind of leaves us right on a cliffhanger right at the end, as usual, and I'm looking forward to seeing what comes up. So that was a lot of fun. Nice surprise. I read this tonight too, because I put it on my pull list. I feel kind of obliged to pick up the rest of them. What is there going to be, 5 of these or 6 of these? I don't know, man. I just don't have an interest in this. There was a couple of interesting moments in here, but it's just nothing that is grabbing me at all. And honestly, fuck this green font for these accents on words and stuff. It really just, it irritates me far more than it should, to be totally honest. I don't know why, but I just find it really distracting. I notice every single one. Instead of, it's bad enough sometimes with like the doing the odd word in kind of bold. Sometimes that can be fairly distracting for me. I just really notice it, and it sort of ruins the flow of reading in my head. Most of the time it doesn't, but every once in a while, for some reason, I just focus on those words and I emphasize them in my head. It almost feels like every single time I read an issue, I am reading a different book, and I just put that off to, I have a huge gap between each issue when I've read this, or it feels like a huge gap, maybe less of a gap between issue number 2 and 3. But I don't really know what I'm reading. I don't really know that I'm that interested in it. Like I said, it had a couple of kind of grisly moments where potentially, it looked up a little bit, but overall, I'm just not, I'm not feeling it. It's just really not doing anything for me. I mean, like I said, it's on my pull lists. I'm going to pick up the rest of the series, the couple more issues, and call it a day. The whole thing will probably go on my for sale pile. And the first one that I read as soon as I got home, Many Deaths of Layla Starr, issue number 3. And I really liked this one. was an unusual premise. Our kind of narrator was a cigarette that Layla Starr was smoking as she kind of has come back to life again, and this time decided that she's going to partake in pleasures of the flesh, partying, drinking, drug taking, sex, all sorts of stuff. I really dig this series, and I love these first pages. The art on and coloring on these first pages are really outstanding to me. I think it's a really killer effect of this kind of party scene. Darius Shaw is back, and it's funny because I'm reading through the story, and it always just feels so naturally like she's come back to life, and we're just gonna follow a character. I every single time so far with issue 2 and 3, I've forgotten that, oh, that's right, this is our character until I get to the end. So this one is I don't remember what the timeline was as far as how long she had been dead for. So I'm not remembering how old he is. I want to say in his 20s, and just a relationship that he has with this woman and one of like his best friends, and how that unfolds. Don't want to do much in the way of spoilers, but I really like this book. I think it's a really great read. Yeah, like I said, it's right up there for me. It's another one of those that as soon as it comes home, it's the first read, kind of like Carmen is for me. I find this a really enjoyable book, so I'm looking forward to the last couple of issues to see where this goes. And then stuff that I picked up that I haven't read yet. This was just outside. So when you go into Galaxy Comics, there's 2 sets of doors in kind of the little vestibule there, whatever. They've got a rack where they put some freebies. This was there, and the art intrigued me. Queen of Skulls, Volume 1, Issue number 1, from Vortex. Is that Vortex Comics? Yeah, Vortex Comics Incorporated. I kind of picked it up off the rack and just opened to a couple of random pages and was instantly intrigued with this completely rough and jagged line work here. So this completely hooked me, really caught my attention. This page, I think, was the page that I first opened up to. Love it. Really like this. So I'm looking forward to see what this is about and what the deal is with this. So that was a really nice surprise today. Like I said, cleaning out the old subscription box, and I'm behind on a number of things. So the Cimmerian, I think is how everybody's pronouncing it. I want to really pronounce it the Cimmerian. Iron Shadows in the Moon, and this is issue number 2 and 3. These were the covers that were in my pull box. I'm not complaining, but I guess they're the A covers, just the regular covers. So I'm looking forward to this. I think this was, yeah, this was the newer one. And again, it's this fantastic art like we saw from the last one, Red Nails. And the other one that I had put in there, I know Damien had read this, and by the end of it, he wasn't feeling it. I picked up the first issue, enjoyed the first issue enough, but I want to kind of, because this whole series is going on, I do want to get them all and give them all a shot. So this is the Frost Giant's Daughter, issue number 2 and issue number 3. The art in this one is good as well. I want to say it doesn't capture my attention as much, pardon me, as the other ones have. Still good though, nothing wrong with it. You know, and my favorite winter scene, and naked ladies in winter. So what do you know about that? And one that I don't know when I'll get to it. I don't know how much of a rush I am in to read it. But again, they've been sitting there for a while now. So Scumbag, issue number 7, and issue number 8. The last few issues I haven't really been into, but again, it's on my pull list. It's not like I have a huge pull list. They're really good with, you know, they're not bugging the shit out of me to clean out the few books from my box. They're okay holding on to them for me so far, or at least that's my impression. Maybe they do have a big issue and they just haven't said anything to me. So it was good to grab this stuff out of here. The art in both of these look good to me. It's just the stories haven't really done much for me, to be honest, the last few issues. And I think it's the same. We've talked about it a couple of weeks with both Damien and Rasa as well. But I'm going to keep going with it. And we'll see what happens. Who knows? Things could surprise you. And again, that's a limited series too, so I'm not so concerned about giving it a shot. And then a couple of things that I grabbed from one of the local comic addicts. I had a reply sold, or maybe an auction going on. These were dirt cheap, so I grabbed just 3 books from him, picked them up today. In the kind of Marvel, hey, AFPC, how's it going, man? In the world of Marvel, of books that I'm not familiar with, although when I looked at the covers, they were really recognizable. There's a couple of Sinbad ones to end this run off. I want to say maybe there's 8 issues of this. This is Worlds Unknown number 5. Cheap, so I thought I'd give it a shot. Looks intriguing to me, flipping through it. But like I said, I don't really know anything about this run whatsoever. By the looks of the art, it's stuff that's done for this series, so not reprints as far as I can tell. Looks pretty great. And the other 2 books I got, I'm very, very slowly, no rush at all. Slowly but surely chipping away at my Phantom Stranger run. So I picked up, he had number 27 and number 32. So I grabbed those for the couple of dollars. I think these were these $4 each or $3 each? I don't remember. Anyway, reasonable. This one has a Black Orchid story in here as well too, which I'm looking forward to. Let's flip open to that one. Yeah, this is it here. Yeah, I haven't sat and read these yet. Maybe I'll dip into them tonight. And the kayfabe guys looked at a Gru comic. So I remembered that I had a couple of Gru comics in the cabinets here, and I've pulled them out and started reading one of them. I started reading with my daughter, and it wasn't, I thought maybe my memory of Gru was that they were extra kind of silly and funny. The one issue that we watched, the one issue that we read, it had its moments, but she didn't really get much out of it. It was this issue here, which was, I think this was the one that Eclipse put out as was that the Gru special? It might have been, where it reprints his very first Gru story from 1979, 1977. Let's see if it says it here. 1977. So it's also collected in this. Sorry, I don't think I showed the front. This was from years ago. I sold off my brother's collection, of his small collection, and there was a few things that I took for myself just because I wanted to read them. And this was one of them. I think he was missing one of the books from this run. So I pulled this Gru Chronicles out because I'd like to dip into these. So this was the first Gru story here. This one I found really enjoyable. I thought this was really great. But again, my daughter just wasn't feeling it. It just wasn't her thing. And I totally respect that. So this will be one that I just read on my own. But it was great to see. That's the beauty of kind of the Kayfabe Guys channel. Some of the stuff that they look at, even if I don't have much interest or end up really paying too much attention to the video, every once in a while they look at something that just reminds me of, you know, yeah, I'd like to dive into that a little more. Yeah, some really, really great stuff. And I mean, you know, no surprise, it's the way it goes with everybody, I'm sure. Just the density of his panels and stuff, and the amount of people he fits into the panels, and just like the different expressions on people's face, although that's not the best example there, are just exceptional. You know, the amount of work. Let's see if we can find. Yeah, there's not really a really good one, a good example here. In the issue we were reading, there was an excellent example of just the different facial expressions on every single warrior in this big fight scene. Here we go. And just and again, I mean, Aragonés comes from, well, doesn't come from, but what I know him from is from Mad Magazine, the marginals and stuff. And I mean, some of those were always really dense, and just the speed apparently that he draws at, and the imagination, and just probably comes second nature to him at some point early on in his career, just to whip these characters off and just go to town, and just have fun. Because I mean, there's always a couple of little gags in the background, you know, stuff like this. You know, just a little minor character details mixed in the foreground and the background with some of these supporting characters that don't do much but just take up space in the panel, is a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm actually looking forward to reading these ones. So that was issue number 3 of that, number 4, and then he's got number 1. So he was missing number 2, and then there's a couple of more in the filing cabinet. I haven't pulled them out yet. So I don't know the backstory as to where all of these come from, where they were originally, if that, you know, because like I said, one of them was an Eclipse special. So I guess it reprints. I don't know how many issues this reprints total. I don't know much. Like, I'm sort of with you, AFPC. Like, I know about Gru. My brother was a huge Gru fan. I know Aragonés from Mad Magazines, but I don't know much about his career, and I don't know much about the Gru series at all. I know Spiro .geek, who's back on YouTube off and on. He's a huge Gru fan, so he probably has a lot more details. Here we go. And then it reprints the covers as well too. So and these are, you know, the classic kind of square bound sorry, not Eclipse, Epic collections. So really nice. Yeah, I wish I had more to talk to you about comic wise. It's just I just haven't read a ton this week. It's just been incredibly busy at work, and my daughter is in at the office with me doing some schooling, because the school is shut down until the end of the school year, which is coming up right around the corner. She's been off of school for a while now, so between that, my wife being back at work, just doesn't leave me a ton of time. I should have been prepared for this. I ordered I saw a trailer on Twitter. One of the benefits of social media and some of these social media platforms are the kind of the people that are out there with these pages that are really just dedicated to one specific topic. The one that I discovered recently, here we go. Son of the White Mare from 1981. There's a Twitter handle, if that's gonna get in there, Animation Obsessive. Animation tidbits from around the world, including rare, underappreciated material you won't find elsewhere. So on this channel, they had, on this page, from 1981, a trippy epic based on Hungarian folklore. This film had a huge hidden impact on later animation, and the mix of it, we'll see if this clip kind of shows up. The mix of it, look for the trailer online. It's this mix of Samurai Jack and kind of Jack Kirby, and it's fucking amazing looking. So when I did a little bit of searching, literally a couple of days before discovering this page on Twitter, there was a reissue, the first time I think in North America, a reissue of this animated movie with a special edition slipcase, blah blah blah. That was all sold out, so I managed to find myself a copy of just the regular version, and it's winging its way to me, and I cannot wait. So, Son of the White Mare, have a look for it on YouTube and watch that trailer. The director just died, I believe, in May. Strangely enough, how these things kind of happen, and that's what I'm finding out. AFPC, like this Soviet animation from this era, this Twitter page is filled with clips. There's so much fantastic stuff here that I have zero knowledge about. Stuff like this from kids shows and stuff, so really really great stuff. Oh, and that's the other channel, Soviet cartoons out of context. Hopefully that shows up there. There you go. That was the other channel that I recently stumbled on. So if you are on Twitter, check out those two channels. Lots of incredible stuff. Just something else, man. Something else. Anyway, I can't wait for that to show up. That's about it. I could just sit here and show you clips all day. Thanks very much. That's it. I'm going to cut it there. Thanks a lot for hanging out there, AFPC. I was just saying at the beginning, if you missed it, I won't be around for the chat this weekend. But Rasa and Damien are still doing the chat. I believe it's going to be on Rasa's channel. But if you're subbed up to both of them, you'll get a notification of it. And I'll see you all next weekend. I'll be back for the regular kind of scheduled chat. Okay, night.